Morning.
Okay, good morning, students. Today we're going to continue our lecture that relates to the how we conduct literature research, which is uh, which is a process that necessarily needs to be done after we collect ideas. After we collect ideas of our outlines, okay, the future out after we have some kind of a mental picture of how the outline is going to be formed. The next step is basically to fill in the uh, information, the basic information that is needed to create some kind of a background or story that is related to the research that we conduct. And so this topic is uh, already prepared in the EduNext. I hope that all of you have already access the materials given here. Even though some of you are coming out from outside of ITB, I hope that you already have an access to get to the EduNext website to get the whole lecture notes, and
Excuse me, sir, but I can't seem to hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties that is happened in this morning lecture. Okay, let me continue my description on today's meeting. And since we uh, lost a lot of time, unfortunately, then I'm just going to skim the important uh, materials that we need to look for the session. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the content of today's lecture has been presented or has been uploaded in the EduNext. Uh, Let me see. Okay, this is the one that which relates to the how we conduct literature research, uh, and then based on the references, okay, based on the references that we have in the physics study program syllabus. Today's topic are coming out from a reference. Okay, let me show you. Okay, okay, uh, coming out from reference number 3. That is conducting research literature reviews from internet to paper, published by the SAGE Publications 2014. And the topic that you must read, the important messages that you need to have from the references, more or less is related to the step involved conducting research literature review, practical screening criteria, as I already mentioned earlier in the EduNext. And for those of you who haven't got access to EduNext, please let me know so that you could have the access to that. And I also upload the relevant uh, readings or the relevant references uh, for this topic, which is basically the book that I've mentioned earlier. If I hope that you able to see your screen at the moment, which I showing you the Microsoft Teams uh, account for our class. And for those of you who haven't got into the MS Teams, please let me know so that you could have you could have access to this class in MS Teams. And then if you have questions related to the course or related to the activities that we're going to do in the whole semester, we can communicate using MS Teams. And uh, as I mentioned earlier, related to the class materials, okay, for this week, I've uploaded the conducting research literature review book here, okay, so that you could skim it, so you can read, because this is the time when you are start to look for literature, and there's some kind of a um, there's some kind of a encouragement and requirements for you to look out for the relevant materials. Use, in the other words, you need to start reading materials. So therefore, instead of I'm showing you lecture notes as I previously did, for this topic, I want you to start reading the material that I've given here in the MS Teams. So based on the physics syllabus, okay, based on the syllabus, let me, okay, uh, the topics on step involved in conducting a research literature review is given in chapter 1, and then practical screening criteria is given in chapter 2, and then conducting a research literature search is explained in chapter 3 and 4. And then chapter 5 is basically the conclusions. Uh, so let me show you the copy of the given book. Okay. In this book, I guess uh, it tells, okay, there it is. Okay, so reviewing the literature, and then searching and screening, and then searching and screening number 2, and then doing the reviews. And what did you find, or synthesizing result? Well, the thing that I want to show you in this lecture today is basically a schematics which summarize the process of literature review itself. Uh, okay, it is given in the, okay, here it is. Okay, figure 1.1, step involved in conducting research literature review is that first is to select research question that we already discussed in the previous lectures by brainstorming and any other methods. Okay, and then you select by bibliographic database and website, and then choose search terminologies, and you may also consult with expert. Okay, let me enlarge this one. Okay, let me, okay. Okay, if you could see on your screen, I'm showing you the research literature review steps. And okay, so in order for you to get the correct terminology or the correct keywords for literature research, you may ask a expert in, so in this case, you may ask your supervisor, or you may ask your teacher on what are the particular importance of a certain keyword related to your fields. And then you apply the practical screen. In terms of the content covered, your search language, settings, samples, etc., and so on. And then after that, you apply a methodological quality screen by looking at the data or looking at the main body of the articles. Okay, and then train reviewers, and then you pilot test the reviewing process, and then do the review. You monitor the quality, synthesize the result, and then you produce the descriptive review and perform meta-analysis. So these are basically the formal way on how you conduct literature review. So what this basically tells us is that if you are going to start your article, which is basically you want to start writing your introduction, that is the part when you're going to set up the story or the background information for your article. And most of the content in that section, which is the introduction section, is more or less need literature review in terms of the history of the method, the history of the history of the fundamental theories, and also what are the current problem that happens in the present day, and then uh, is there any ways to tackle, or is the problem at the present time has already been solved or not, etc., and so on. And then you tell also the applications or the current application of the proposed method. And then well, it's basically to create a solid story that your research is going to be beneficial in tackling the problem that you working on. Okay. Um, so I'm just going to let you look at, not just look, but also to read the whole text of this book if you're able to do that. And I'm just going to give you time to look for this material, as well as the video materials. Okay, the video materials that I prepare for you in this EduNext website uh, is also prepared for you to get the beneficial information relates to the four topics of conducting research and data review. And so uh, if I have to show you the schedule of our class, okay, in Thursday, we are planning to move on to the next topic, which relates to how we start writing the scientific topic articles. Okay, so it is planned that for this session in Monday, I will let you read the book or the reference book for reviewing literature review, and then and then watch all the videos that I prepared in EduNext, which is basically a YouTube video that is related to the following topic. And then by Thursday, we start to talk about how to write scientific articles. In scientific communications, when scientists want to, so as I mentioned, probably in the first week of our lecture, is that the ways that scientific people or scientific community interact with one another is that they are communicating through publications, okay, through publications, and also by meetings. So scientific articles that is published in a certain respected journals, and also the talks that are given by a certain scientists in a meeting are part of the communication that scientists have to basically to describe, to explain, and to introduce the thing that they're working on related to a certain problem or to a certain topic that is important at that time. So, uh, so that in Thursday, we're going to tackle the ways on how we're going to write scientific articles. And then by that, we start to uh, we start to uh, pave ways to done the communication process related to the scientific work that we done, basically. Okay, so scientific writing in terms of standard scientific paper, words, sentences, paragraph, writing scientific text, and then followed by the presenting numerical data, constructing scientific figures, and writing. So that by February the 14th, you able to submit the first major assignment, which is the submission of the introduction of your scientific article. Okay, only for the introduction part, where templates I will give uh, next week. Okay, I will give the template for the introduction next week. Okay, Okay, so for today's meeting, I'm just going to let you skim out the materials to that I prepare here from the videos and also the readings in MS Teams. Okay, here in the class materials, conducting research review, this from internet to paper. And before I'm closing today's lecture, I'm going to show you a way to also conduct literature search is by, uh, for example, one of the, okay, when you are planning to search for a certain keywords, okay, let me go back to the schematics. Okay, select bibliographic database and website. So this is part when I'm going to show you how to search using database. So the a common database that we have nowadays is Scopus. Okay, Scopus. And if you are using ITB account or ITB network, you probably have some articles that open readily. Okay, so if you open Scopus, it will give you the, okay, so here, oh, so this is the preview. uh Scopus abstract citation database. Okay, database. Sorry. Let me, oh, okay. Okay, accept, search. Okay, okay, this is not the, okay, if I'm going to look out for example, geothermal exploration. Oh, okay. I knew what is the problem here. I'm using my own network because previously when I'm accessing the Zoom, it was crashed when I was using the ITB's network. So I'm using at the moment the uh, my own cell phone data. And so, okay, so hence the display of Scopus is different with the thing that I uh, use when I'm accessing it with ITB account. So these are the preview of database if you're using Scopus using your private or your own network. However, if you're using ITB's network or UNPAT network or UPI network or your own university's network, it will directly goes to the database of Scopus. And yeah, unfortunately, I can, well, maybe in Thursday, I will show you the correct one, hopefully, so that you can have the full version. Okay, author search. Yeah. Okay, so these are basically the display of the Scopus if you're using your own network. So let me, okay, if you're using another database such as Google Scholar, okay, this is another database that you can use. Okay, geothermal exploration. Okay, it will give you topics related to the geothermal exploration, and if you need to be specific with induction. Okay, and so there are articles that are related to that topic. So from here, so for example, if this electromagnetic sounding of geothermal zones published in Journal of Applied Geophysics 2009, Elsevier. Okay, and the thing that you and okay, so this is the example, okay, of the paper. Uh, the one that I'm going to ask you in the first major assignment is for you to write the introduction part, and this is where literature review becomes important because it tells you the background story and then the story about the current problem, the story about how the method is applied and in the current stage and how it's being developed, etc. and so on. So these are basically the thing that you need to write in couple of weeks, and then from the literature that you gather from this week to the date of submission is going to be the brick is going to be the body or is going to be the backbone of the background story of your topic that you want to cover. Okay, so here are an example for that one. Uh, let me see. Okay, abstract introduction section. Okay, so they didn't give us a full display of this paper, but when we have our lecture in Thursday, hopefully we're going to see the full version so that you can see what on what part literature review becomes relevant or becomes important in our task as a scientist or as a science student or as a students in general to communicate research result, our uh, work activities, or our scientific findings through the scientific communities. Okay, so let me stop share my screen right now, and then I'm going to stop the recording so that all of you could start watching the videos that I presented and that I prepared in the EduNext, and also to look out for the books that I prepared in the MS Tips. Okay.